The Last Ship, Season 5, Episode 4. Okay, so we're tortuously making our way through this season. Once again, we have a big battle because that's what The Last Ship has tried to do for the last 5 years, along with putting American supremacy squarely front and center. We're supposed to get the feeling that this is a big budget movie on a small screen, and the best way to convey that is, of course, a big battle. So, they know that Tavos has a fleet of 4 ships. I don't know how we're calling that a fleet, but that's apparently a fleet. And because Tavos is determined that killing Tom will end the American war effort, rather than listening to his advisors who are suggesting alliances with other countries and pointing to different ways they're making progress and dealing with military strategy, his idea of winning the war is killing Tom, and he's willing to risk his fleet, this after just losing his air force. How does this guy become a leader? I'm really supposed to believe he's the big mastermind? Okay, whatever. So anyway, Tom decides to mine the Yucatan Straits. I hope I just said that right. And it's a pretty good plan. Things go to plan at first until they realize that they can't see one of Tavos' ships, and it turns out, of course, that's a big battleship. This is a problem. They're severely outgunned and outmanned. Somehow, Tom manages to fix things so that 2 of Tavos' ships go down. Unfortunately, the Nathan James gets injured in the process and isn't able to follow through. Now, it isn't Tom who actually makes the decision not to follow through, it's Kara. This is huge. Kara is a captain, Tom is an admiral. And as we know, Slattery is also an admiral. He's down, working in the engine room. Kara, as a captain, shouldn't be able to overrule Tom in any fashion. Yeah, she is commissioned to the ship, but he is also the higher officer. This is a complete breakdown in chain of command. But Kara asserts her position that going after Tavos' ships is not a good idea, and saying that she is responsible for the ship. Satterley, in the end, backs her up, saying that Tom's plan is, a death march, and Tom agrees to back down. I'm inclined to say that he backed down more for Slattery than he backed down for Kara. Really. But having her stand up and push back against chain of command is pretty cool. She owns her position as captain of the Nathan James, and it's really, really nice to see. Okay, so I guess it was about time for the U.S. to lose a major battle, and this one is absolutely a loss. They've lost Cuba as an ally, if they ever had Cuba as an ally. The Nathan James is clearly going to have to be in dry dock for a couple of months, which is a problem because it's the U.S.'s only ship, right? And then Mexico blew up the oil refinery rather than having it fall in Tavos' hands. Scorched earth policy, I suppose. So this is definitely a huge setback. Fortunately for Nathan James, help is on the way. Vulture Team has the encrypted battle plans, and finally meet up with the Narcos. They run into a little trouble along the way. Wolf does end up getting shot. Fortunately, Wolf is saved by Danny. I don't know why I love this character so much. I love Wolf's character. He doesn't say much. He just kind of shoots it, but I really like his character. Anyway, reminding us all just how awesome Wolf is. He gets picked up by Danny in a fireman's carry, and in that position still manages to take out a soldier. Yeah, I know it's ridiculous. I absolutely know it's ridiculous, but I'm not gonna lie. I did cheer a little bit. It was kind of cool. I felt a moment. It didn't last long, but there was a moment. So I'm totally gonna own that. All right. What comes next is something that I've been predicting since episode 1. Alicia Gunderson, I said at the very beginning, was on borrowed time. And why did I think Alicia was on borrowed time? because they were finally starting to show us aspects of her private life, right? What other reason to do that if you're not wanting to make a character's passing more significant, particularly in a show like The Last Ship, where family and connection, I mean, they talk all about it, but actual physical presence in their lives is is like a tire, weight tying them down. Hence the reason Tom's kids were shipped off to Botany Bay really quick. Anyway, so we start seeing Alicia at home with her girlfriend Kelsey. Kelsey shows up at the base. She's sending pictures with kisses. Why do we know so much about Alicia and Kelsey? Now, in another show, this wouldn't feel like a lot, like a big thing. But like I said, because of the scarcity of interpersonal relationships on Last Ship, this is a huge deal. So anyway, of course, it was Kelsey who managed to slip problematic software into Alicia's keycard, which Clayton does figure out, um, which is, just a huge setup. Apparently, she's drank the Tavos Kool-Aid. Alicia goes home to confront her spouse, and Clayton is busy trying to reach Alicia on the phone. A fight breaks out. Alicia's like, "Didn't you ever love me at all?" And I kind of wish these two had better chemistry because they didn't really have a lot of time to sell the relationship. And I feel like if the actresses had better chemistry, maybe I could have been um, more involved in this scene. Of course, a fight breaks out and Alicia ends up dead. And is all, "Why, Kelsey? Why?" Well, other than I drank the Kool-Aid, there's no real reason why. Um, it was sort of left as a cliffhanger. There's no way she's coming out of this dead alive. I'm positive at this point that she is dead because they really just did the marginalized swan song with her. I mean, this. Otherwise, why do the whole production of meeting Alicia's significant other and reminding us that she has a job when she's has interests outside of the military? That is classic marginalized swan song, and I'm pretty sure Alicia's gone. I can't say that I'm overly worked up about it for the simple fact that it's kind of impossible to actually invest in these characters. Like, The Last Ship has always had an unwieldy cast. So much for the point that 5 years later, I sometimes still struggle to remember who's who. Not whose relationship to who, but who's who. What are these character names? Because some of them just exist to sort of be in the background and show up to Tom. You're wonderful, and I worship you, and occasionally throw out a hoorah, right? And that's just it. So, although Alicia Gunderson has been around since episode 1, season 1, I'm not invested. I'm not invested in her, which I should be. How many black lesbians are there on TV that this character is just sort of written off and pushed off to the side and not someone you really watch? She's a black lesbian character. This should be huge. But the writers have done nothing with her. Nothing with her at all to make her stand out from anyone else. And it's kind of disappointing because we really need this representation on TV. Um, Alicia Gunderson's character could have been something, and it just never really went anywhere. Popped up every once in a while to remind you that, hey, there's a black lesbian in the room, and then just like disappeared. That's just basically all that kind of happened with it. So, bye, Alicia. I'm not going to miss you. Never knew you. I guess that's about as good as it gets. We'll see what the next episode brings.